All right, we are back, everybody, with Mike Egbert, and he is the director, producer of Extra Toppings as a follow-up to our prior Play It Forward interview with John Allen. We're going to be talking about Extra Toppings. Mike, thanks for being here today.
My pleasure, man. Thank you for inviting me, man. It was a great interview with John, and I was excited to be here.
It was very
So,
kind of
yeah,
you.
my name is Mike. I'm a
Yes.
filmmaker. I would like to say maybe entertainment. I don't want to limit myself to just filmmaking. I'm definitely here to make a difference in people's lives through smiles and laughs, or maybe sometimes a little scare. And yeah, I'm here to talk about Extra Toppings, which is our short little film we just recently did, and that's part of the 48-hour film festival. To sum that movie up, I would say that it's basically about a party rental company for unique fantasies for adults, and then it just kind of gets weird from there.
Excellent. It's a great premise for weirdness. And I think, the starting question for us here, play it forward to what we do, is really look into the depth of whatever it is, the content we're presented with. And I find no matter what the content is, no matter how ridiculous, humorous, or ridiculous in this case, there is a grounding force in reality. There's a grounding force in human behavior and human psychology, and that translates from the psyche to the soul. There's that level, that connection. And here we're exploring a fetishized world where humans are driven to engage in these fantastical behaviors, which lend themselves to um, oddity and laughs and that part of it. But to go to the source of like the fetish and the nature and some humans do have these extreme fetishes and maybe we all have our interests and where does it border a fetish or where is it not and but this land of fetish seems to be like there's an extremeness to it. There's this like almost and in this case ridiculous. So the first question to play it forward really grounds it in the creator's own life. Where did you get the desire to make this, to expose this kind of human condition?
I believe in honesty. Everybody can write a story, but the good ones are grounded in honesty. And even in my previous films, I find that I have a theme, relationships and sexual frustration. And I think that's something that we can all relate to. In my first film that I did, it was about a mom and her son, and about his sexual frustration, being mute and having some handicaps and some mom problems. In this film, it was more about today's world where you see these, like I'm a single guy and I'm dating, and on these apps, it's like, oh, I'm a throuple or I'm in an open relationship, and it's like I don't think people are getting enough of what they want, or they're not understanding that what they have is good enough.
Yeah, not understanding what they have is good enough or getting what you want. And so there's that kind of that spectrum between lack and then appreciating what it is you do have to try to maybe get your needs met in a more authentic or honest way. So you said one of the things that you see is I'm a throuple. What did I hear you?
Yeah, yeah. So like in the dating scene, you'll see that people are already in couples and they want a third
Oh, a
person, you know?
throuple. Okay, I get. It. I
Yeah, yeah.
never.
It's
Uh-huh. I
yeah, and so
see.
it's just, and it's just, and then obviously there's a lot of swinging type relationships or that kind of thing. And it's like and I don't think people are okay diving into a single relationship anymore, you know?
Well, and see, and that really lends to this conversation in terms of the title of the film. It goes back to extra toppings. It's this level of excess. We maybe as a society have gotten to this accessibility where things are more accessible to us. There are things maybe that are people have been more exposed to. On one hand, it's great in terms of the open-mindedness and acceptance. On the other hand, there's the extreme world of well, I've got to simulate this pornography that I'm watching online, and that's all of a sudden my threshold for um, satisfaction. So, if we're chasing the extreme, you know, that in itself sets up this equation of never being satisfied.
Correct. Chasing the dragon.
Yeah. So how do you think, to get us from this kind of context, okay, well, we've got our subject matter, we've got like our themes on the table here, and we're dealing with these human emotions of, whether it's sex or whether it's video games or whether it's like the phone and the scrolling and um these behaviors that are just like kind of checkout. Like we're gone, and when we got this, we're stuffing ourselves with candy, and then we've got life, which is still there, and it has its own richness, but somehow we have potentially numbed ourselves to it for fear of experiencing what is here. So kind of working with all this stuff in the context of extra toppings, in context of your own experience. You've got kids, you've got grandkids, you've been around and you've experienced the world. How is it? What is the film saying to you? What is the message of the movie now? What is the warning that you see in the film? And how do you get back to balance in your life with all the distractions?
I don't know if it's a warning as more of it is like bringing a light to it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I definitely make my movies and my entertainment is bringing. You mentioned the drugs, you mentioned the video games, you mentioned the sex. What I like to do with my movies is create a form of healthy entertainment, a healthy escape. So instead of finding these other things to fulfill your void, you can go to a movie and forget for an hour and a half. And so that's what I try to provide is some kind of healthy escape. So and poke fun at things, and create some kind of thing that we can all relate to, which is relationships, sexual frustration. Whether you're happy or whether you're not. Those are our core values that I think everybody can relate to. So making something that's relatable, something that has got some truth in it from my history, and my pain, which is, I've gone through two divorces. I'm still single at 53. You know, um, I've put my work in to make sure that I'm a good partner. And so, yeah, that's probably the stuff that goes into my films is that truth from my experience.
I love that because it's, in asking the question, you've answered it for me through the context of your own life. And what I hear you saying is void. You mentioned the word void, right? There's this void that we as humans feel and inherit. And that void we can discuss, well, there's why is the void there? Number one. And what do we do with it? Now, in your life, what you've done with that is you filled it, the words that you keep using are truth and relationship and connection, right? So that's what you're doing here. You didn't want to say necessarily just limit to yourself as a filmmaker or entertainer. You connect with people and you tell the truth and you try to create levity and humor around the challenges that we face.
I
And
try to create a safe space
and so can
where
you
we can
talk
talk
more
and
about that? What
discuss.
do you think? Yeah. What do you think based on my interpretation of you?
I think you nailed it. I mean, I think that's exactly what I'm trying to do is create a safe space where we can watch something together, something that's not, gender or age specific, right? That's important or culture specific. As everybody deals with relationships, and then something we can look at, we can talk about and discuss, and maybe even laugh a little bit because laughing is how we deal with some stuff. Some people that's just how they cope, or maybe how they take that little thing in your brain where you're stuck on this, and that laughter can go, oh, wait a minute, there is another viewpoint,
Yeah.
there is another, what, oh, I'm being silly, just that click in your brain to kind of like get you to think differently.
I love that. That's a brilliant, brilliant take on laughter and humor because it does allow for that turn of the dial, which changes a mindset. It's a different viewpoint. And I think one thing that it takes out of the equation is judgment, is judging ourselves. So here we are in this human predicament of going to excess, doing these behaviors that maybe we don't even like ourselves doing. but we can laugh at ourselves, take out some of the self-judgment, take out some of the frustration, and if we tell the truth, if we can find that, we can actually find some substance that can help us get the real instead of trying to, press the little happy pill button. And how do you get the real in your life? Like, what do you go to as an anchor?
Um, People, community. Like I really appreciate this world that there's so many people on it and I'm not alone. And I think it's once again, I'm going to talk relationships, connections. And it's not just like I would say your wife or your girlfriend or your friend, the person you buy groceries from. This is a human being. They're in this world. This world would suck without them. So appreciating those people and appreciating that we're not alone, and trying to change people's perception for the better and create a better vibe, so that we, as people, can get past all the BS of a color of skin or where we grew up or location or this thing to I'm here. This I feel like what we're in this generation now, where it's like, I'm here, hey, I'm here, look at me, look at me. Get past that and just get back into like, what is your value? And I think like 6'7" is a perfect example of that, right? Like here we are in this world, and 6'7", it's not even a real thing, is word of the year in the dictionary. Like where are we at? When are we going to create substance? When are we going to get back to where your last name means something, and you're looking for your legacy and substance, and not just a flash in the pants in this world?
Thank you. What is 6'7"?
So you've never heard of 6'7"?
I'm
Oh,
not, I
the
don't
kids will love
watch.
that one. The kids will love that one. So literally, 6'7" means nothing. If you were to describe it as anything, you would say on a scale of 10, 6'7", right? But it's a thing with the youth that they love this term 6'7" so much that it became the dictionary word of the year.
So
And
just,
literally,
it's
it
like
is,
nothing. It means
yeah.
neutral. What
So
does
it
it
means
mean?
nothing. Yeah, and it actually came from a song from Skrilla, that in his song he says doot doot 6'7". They took that 6'7" and made it into a thing, and and honestly, it's nothing. It doesn't mean anything, and that's what's the beauty of it, and the pain of it.
Right.
Is this complicated world where we made a nothing word dictionary word of the year, and it's not even a word. It's 6-7. It's not even words.
Well,
It's numbers. It's crazy, man. It's crazy, man.
it's fabulous. I mean, what I see you saying is, you pointed here, you did one of these, you did this, and this points to the heart, right? This is an inner area, and you're talking about a concept of us as a species, as humanity. You're talking about a unity, and you're talking about seeing other people in a state of sameness, union, that we are all the same. And that is a different way to look at the world, and not a way that promotes competition and mine and yours. And it's a different mindset. And in that mindset, everyone is a family member.
One love, one heart.
Yeah, exactly. Um, Mike Egbert, thank you. Since making this film, how have you been changed as a person?
I haven't directed a lot. I'm an actor by, I guess, actor, comedian, all that stuff by trade, IT guy. And so directing is newer to me. This is my second film I directed, and so I was the team lead, so I was responsible for everything. And so what this did is validate the work I've been putting in to understand human behavior, understand what it takes to be a good leader, what it takes to be a good director, what it takes to communicate properly in a film. And we put together an amazing film in 48 hours. Not only that, I had a news crew on my set because they wanted some extra media coverage and stuff like that. So they were on my set for 3 hours, in a short 48-hour window. And I still finished on time because I was able to manage that and use my experience, and it validated that I treated people with respect, that I was able to communicate effectively and put together a team that had great energy. And as I told them, I said, my responsibility for you, or for me really, to the team, is to make sure you understand your communication and good vibes. Manage your energy. And if I manage your energy and have good communication, you know what you're supposed to do, you know what your role is, you know what the script is, you know what your wardrobe is, where you're supposed to be, you can just focus on your energy, and we're going to put out an amazing film. And I feel like that did it, and the team loved it. And even though we had a problem because we were actually disqualified because probably because of Labubu, which is a funny story. So I wanted to put this Labubu in there, and they were worried about disqualifying. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I didn't know what it was, but I think John told me it was the little creature.
Yes, yes, very
Okay.
popular thing,
Yes.
super popular. I like being topical and fun, and so this was just, it's the Cabbage Patch of the now, right?
Yeah.
Or, the Tickle Me Elmo. And so I wanted this murderous Labubu. Well, what I found out was that they had the 48-hour headquarters had got worried about that we had like copyright issues, even though we were doing a parody and nobody's making money off this film, and so they
Right.
got weird about it, right?
Uh-huh.
So when they came to judge our film about that, for the film festival, they saw the Labubu, and I'm pretty sure they got upset because it turns out the headquarters of 48 Hours is in the Netherlands, and
Huh.
that Labubu is basically a Netherland type Norse god, Nordic god, and I was making fun of it. So possibly I could have screwed myself, but you know what? It's fun. It's a story. And I told the team, I said, don't worry about it. We're going to go get our awards in the film festivals, and that's what we're doing now.
Awesome. And you got it done. Mike, let me ask you this. I heard positivity, I heard respect, and I heard um, being able to manage the situation. Now, with respect to leadership and learning these traits of leadership, how do you calibrate your inner self when you lead? What do you see the job of a leader in terms of the inner world that you've got to be in order to execute?
I follow the Mr. Rogers theory. I take off my shoes and I put on theirs. And how would I want to be treated? And before I even approach the project, if you ever worked with me on set, I would say I'm not the easiest, but I'm not the hardest because I'm going to expect things. And so what I did is I said, okay, if Mike Egbert was on set, what questions would he have? What holes would he see on set versus communication? Little things like snacks, preparedness, energy, and let's make sure all those things are satisfied. And let's look at the people and treat them as respect. And that's what I did.
Love it. Mike Egbert, entertainer, filmmaker, director, producer of Extra Toppings. Thank you so much for being on the show. John Allen, thank you for the nominee.
My pleasure, my guy. Thank you very
Peace out.
much.
Thank you,
Peace out.
brother. Be well. All
Thank
right.
you.
Till next time, everybody.